investigative report. Jade Helm, mystery solved. That's going to air at the bottom of the hour. 3 months of investigative research with our whole team. 3 weeks being put together by David Knight and Rob Jacobson. This is an investigative report, in-depth, red-linked on Infowars.com. We're going to premiere it coming up, but here is the trailer.
Tonight on the Infowars Nightly News, a deep look into Jade Helm 15 and its historic connection into what Eisenhower called the scientific, technological elite.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
Is this just an exercise, or is there more to it? What exactly is their agenda?
Jade Helm 15. That's what the United States Army is calling a large-scale military exercise.
Infowars takes a hard look at the key players and facts behind the scenes of Jade Helm 15.
Groups of these special forces can move around the civilian population without being noticed.
We've cracked the code and are bringing you the answers tonight on the Infowars Nightly News.
Again, the special report is now live. The video is now live for everybody to share with friends and family. We're going to air it, premiere it here on the radio. It was produced for the Nightly News. Coming up at the start of the next segment, investigative report, Jade Helm mystery solved. From their own documents going back over a decade, right up until now, voiced by Jakari Jackson, written by Rob Jacobson, the research was, of course, done by David Knight, Rob Jacobson, and the rest of the crew. Deep research into all of this. That is coming up in the next segment. Again, let me just give you the stacks here. More and more American citizens are being held for up to 3 years, black, white, and Hispanic. I point that out because this corruption in the government, the corruption in the judiciary, the breakdown of the system is targeting everyone. The media wants to make it racial so we all fight with each other and don't ever fix it. But I'm going to get to this report after our Jade Helm report that's coming up. And it goes beyond Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, the senators, pushing for a ban on indefinite detention of U.S. citizens at foreign ghost sites or black sites. What about what's happening right here in America within the normal court system? It is shocking. Ron Paul's got an article out today. In fact, I read it this morning. I didn't see it in the stack. It's probably here, where he's talking about how the death penalty is the biggest example of our broken big government. I am inherently for an eye for an eye. And if we see somebody murder someone live on television, we know they did it, or in front of 100 witnesses, sure. But it turns out over a third of the people with DNA testing on death rows around the country are innocent. Remember the Michael Mortensen case here in Central Texas, where they knew he was innocent and knew who killed his wife, but they just put the dad with no criminal record in prison? They've now indicted the former prosecutor up in Williamson County that did it. I mean, why would you want to put some innocent family man in jail for 25 years? He had a life sentence, spent 25 years. They knew who did it. They had the bandana. They had witnesses. They knew who killed his wife. Because I'm telling you, that serial killer ended up killing more people. I bet you money he was working for the man. So you want me to tell you my problems with the government? I'm going to tell you. People think, what are you doing not wanting a war with the police? Why are you defending the system? I'm not. But you don't attack the bottom of it. When most of the police are innocent, you go after the people twisting the system. That's why you get things changed. Why do you think the controlled media is pushing that the police are the problem and basically the only problem and the feds are going to save us? Because they're the engineers of the whole stinking thing. You want to fix it, we're going to break that down. But the system is corrupt. Undoubtedly one of the most corrupt in history, and it's getting worse. So that's coming up. We're going to get into the Pope and his carbon taxes. World government is what this is. We're in dire straits, folks. Notice that the mainline Protestant groups are coming out pushing all sorts of tyranny. Notice the Catholic Church is pushing all sorts of tyranny. Notice all these Republican leaders are pushing tyranny. The New World Order is making its move right now to dissolve borders, to create international government with international taxes and international armies. We may have read about this before in something called Revelation. Look at these headlines. Why the Pope's new climate change doctrine matters. And it's a new indulgence where you basically pay the big mega banks so that your carbon credits so you can get into environmentalist heaven. And the Catholic Church puts out these memos saying, give money and then we'll give money to save the earth. I mean, it's pay the church and we'll wave a magic wand and get your family out of purgatory. Because they're trapped in purgatory, awaiting the hour of reprisal, and their time slips away. Give me a break. And this diverts from the massive destruction of the earth that's taking place. And I meant to have more measured words, but man, I tell you, I'm not a Catholic and I'm not a rocket scientist, but I have read Catholic canon law and studied it. It's against Catholic law to have a Jesuit as the Pope. Because it's supposed to be the police of the church, so you don't want them taking over, like Julius Caesar taking over Rome. Same story. It's like having the military take over. We're here live.
When I was young.
InfoWars Nightly News is 7 o'clock Central as well. And, of course, the Sunday show, 4 to 6 p.m. live. I was live last Sunday. I'll be live this Sunday. Every 3-4 weeks or so, David Knight sits in. I don't think folks mind me taking a Sunday off once a month. The next hour is coming at us. Phyllis Schlafly's going to be on the latest on TPP and the move to completely gut our borders. I want to get into Americans interned in America without trial. In fact, I forgot one that I didn't have you guys print off. There was the case of the dentist, Charles Sell. And I was interviewing his lawyers like in 1998 and stuff. And last time I heard, he was still in prison. And he never got a trial. They claimed he didn't engage in Medicare, Medicaid fraud as a dentist. He said he hadn't. And then they threw him in a psychiatric prison, then put him in a regular prison. And last time I checked, he'd been there like 16, 17 years. And the New York Times had articles about it like it was good. Like, this is good. We just put you directly in prison. It's liberal. Yeah, there it is. Jailed man fights efforts to medicate him for trial. And it just went on for decades because he wouldn't let them medicate him for trial. Then they finally medicated him so much that he's a zombie. Last time I had his lawyer on. No criminal record, done nothing wrong. Fought their charges. They just said, you're mentally ill. Goodbye. I mean, there's so many examples of this, and there's some new ones. Khalif Browder, no criminal record. They claimed he stole a backpack, had no evidence. 3 years in a prison without a trial. He got out, committed suicide. Man left in solitary confinement for 2 years. No judge, no jury, no arraignment. They never let him leave the cell for 2 years either. He looked like a guy, out of those old movies where they're locked up in the dungeon. They just pulled him over in the town in New Mexico. He's white, by the way. Most of these people are white. And my issue is, it's happening to everybody. We'll get into Putin says Russia's beefing up its nuclear arsenal. That's all coming up. We got a bunch of news on the economy. Fed's worst nightmare, the ghosts of 1937. CNBC reporting on possible crash coming. I'm going to talk about this shark attack. Somebody asked me last night on the street. They said, I've been listening to your show Sunday and today, and you never talk about the shark attacks. Well, I just don't talk about stuff that doesn't matter. I know it's sensational that 2 people got mauled in North Carolina by probably some mentally ill shark because normal sharks don't attack people. There's less than 100 attacks worldwide every year. 5 deaths from great whites. 6 or 7 from bull sharks, 3 or 4 from makos, couple from tigers. You're talking less than 20 deaths a year out of 7.5 billion people. You got a better chance of seeing a leprechaun riding a pink pony than you do getting bit by a shark. Now, you can get snapped by a black tip or something that thinks your foot's a fish and you have some teeth marks in it. I mean, stingrays kill hundreds of people a year. I'm not saying the ocean isn't dangerous, jellyfish and stuff, but I just am not into hype threats. Cancer viruses and vaccines? Look it up. Government admits. I even saw it on WebMD like a week ago. I think it was Dew in the back office was showing me. Have you seen this? I was like, yeah, I've seen that. 100+ million people were given cancer viruses in the polio shot, and they estimate that almost all of them developed cancer and most of them died from it. All these cancers didn't exist. They're now common. Cancer viruses. Most cancer is viral. Your body fights it off. You finally give in. You finally give up. That's what taking steroids for allergies is so dangerous. I've been reading studies. Yeah, it'll make you not have allergies. The problem is that's your body fighting all this toxic stuff. You suppress that, your body gives up, boom, cancer starts growing. You're deader than a hammer. I mean, we're under total attack. You see allergies going way up? That's our body just freaking out. Going, I got to fight. I got to fight. I got to fight for my life. I got to fight. I got to fight. Finally, it goes, I give up. Ugh, get cancer. We're in a fight for our lives. I'm sorry. I'm not scared. A family of mine will just freak out when I'll just go swim in the Caribbean Ocean at night. You know, what are you doing swimming 200 yards out in the Caribbean, at night? Because I like it. I'm not scared. I know statistically it's not a danger. I get on the highway every day with giant trucks and cars all around me. The #1 cause of death under the age of about 60. And we all do it with our kids. It's super dangerous. Those big 18-wheelers are a lot more dangerous than a Mako. Well, my son caught a 7-footer, though. You pull it up on my Twitter, and you talk about scary. That sucker was beautiful, too. It had like blue, almost black colored skin, scales. Just so beautiful, that color. I'd love to have a car that color. And then white on the bottom. Just a beautiful, beautiful shark, except for the face is just demonically evil, just teeth poking out in every direction. He gaffed it. Proud of him. He's killed 3 alligators, Mako, a bunch of other stuff. You're like, oh, yeah, your son's real tough. You go up and shoot an alligator, a 10-foot alligator, or stab it through the head when it's been hauled up into the boat. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, listen, that's natural. We're not into killing animals, but it releases ancestral memories and chemicals in the brain when you hunt and take down predators, and it activates you, and that way you transcend being a boy and become a man. That's what these rituals are all about. We don't go out and kill animals because we like to kill. We go out to do it because you get high when you do it because you're designed to do it. And then after you've done it a bunch, you have no more desire to do it. I really don't have any desire. I like to go out dove hunting and then shoot quail. Quail dove hunting, because then you can go marinate them and then cook them that evening. And then it's just the skill of shooting them out of the air. And they're like roaches. I mean, there's so many of them. But this demonization of hunting is about a demonization of normal human activities. But I've now segued out of where I was going. We're going to skip this network break coming up. The only one I'm going to skip today, so that we can air this exclusive, in-depth report compiled by Rob Jacobson, Jakari Jackson, David Knight, and others. This is a compendium of 3 months of research into Jade Helm, our sources, but government documents and their own admissions. And it's not an imminent takeover. It is a slow, creeping death to model every facet of society. It's red-linked on Infowars.com. It is such an important report, investigative report, Jade Helm, mystery solved. We're going to tweet it. We're going to put it on Facebook. Please share it. It is solved. We can say 100% it's solved. Will they piggyback some false flags on the back of it? Maybe. But overall, it's about mapping human behavior and conditioning the public to accept military occupation. Here is the in-depth